In the spirit of the concept of beginning with the end in mind, I'd like to introduce what could be the most important yoga pose. Of course, all poses are important, and how you approach them is critical. But the first pose in yoga, called mountain, is an upright, standing position. However, most of us spend our lives seated. So how can we translate standing mountain into sitting mountain? This takes some focus and preparation. It's not just about parking yourself on a chair. I've chosen my deck chair and taken my shoes off so I can demonstrate what I think is preferred angles of my limbs. And even this is not optimal. But it's real, and that's what matters in life. Taking your shoes off will shorten the length of your legs, which if you sit forward on a chair, you might have your hips higher than your knees. Because if you're standing, that's true. When one sits, if you're laying back, crossing your legs, or doing many items that are unthought of, but just done, you might create strain in your body. You might compromise breathing and your cognition. I'm going to turn the chair sideways. And I'd like you to consider this angle. Is this higher than here? And if not, you can use a pillow. Coming up a little higher creates a little more slope, and you can push your tail down and back and bring your belly up and forward. Gravity is helpful here. I also like to use 2 fists for the spacing of my knees and feet. Check that out for you. What's 2 fists? Also, the idea of sitting with my palms up and my upper arms plumb or vertical from my shoulder positions my hands about 2/3 of the way down my thigh. My pinky and ring finger can rest on my leg, and this can potentially float outward. Try that on both sides. This could be work already. Consider breathing, and then you can call it yoga. So as you sit here, you may attempt to rotate the elbows and bring the palms up. Settle the hands on the thighs. You can press down a little bit to sit up a little more tall. Good. And rest. You can breathe. Let the lungs fill. And train your muscles, legs, mid-body, neck and shoulders, so that eventually you might relax in this position. I'm going to turn. Try the 2 fists. Why is that helpful? Because if you were standing, this might be your ideal positioning. You can also then engage your inner thighs without closing the space, as if you were sitting on the saddle of a horse, and that you engaged inward, pushed through the stirrups and was ready for your giddy up. It's also where people might position themselves to meditate. I invite you to consider beginning with the end in mind when you're approaching a chair. See how this feels and let me know. You can contact me at howie@youcallthisyoga.org. I welcome your feedback. Namaste.